Hadith Criticism, a modern heresy? According to some, Hadith criticism and denial is a modern phenomena that had no place in Islamic history. The majority have always accepted the Hadith. This adds fuel to their argument that Hadith rejection is wrong and following it is and should be the norm. Some say it started with Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, 1817-98, and various insults are given to those of us that judge our beliefs and practices from the Quran alone, including Quran, quranist, quranoon, to name but a few. It is like someone calling me an honest man when he thinks it is an insult. Well, it is to a fraudster. I am amused over the personal attack on the character of those who are on the right path of Quranic guidance, which is always the first to last resort of those who cannot win the argument with the truth or solid facts. Repeating ad nauseum the same lies for Hadith worship when they have been refuted time and time again leaves me bemused at their state of closed-mindedness. They are stating that I cannot know right from wrong or how to live a godly life without a Bukharian Hadith or Imam Shafi's Sunnah ruling in my life. Child pedophilia, rape of captured women prisoners, beheading captives, endless rituals. Shall I go on to further prove the inglorious position the Bukharian Hadith have put them into? I am sorry to rain on your parade, but I have some bad news for you. It is not modern, but historically goes back to the earliest Islamic times. The Hadith as Scripture is the title of an excellent book by the author Aisha Y. Musa, subtitled Discussions on the Authority of Prophetic Traditions in Islam. It addresses the debates from the earliest times about the role of Hadith in the Islamic world. The book proves that there was widespread opposition to the Hadith either as a whole, outright rejection, or only of the problematic ones from Islamic writers in the late 2nd century AH, 8th century CE. These writings are from Hadith followers, Bukharians, though Bukhari had not canonized his books when Shafi, the earliest writer, wrote his Kitab Jima al-Ilm. This was presented as a series of debates with a Hadith rejecter with some of the same false arguments that are used today for evidence to follow Hadith. The Quran believer, al-Kalam, is not presented in a favorable light as you would expect from someone writing this book who is defending the Hadithist position. As well as Shafi, died 204 AH, A.Y. Musa discusses Ibn Qutayba, died 276 AH, Abu Jafar al-Tahawi, died 321 AH, and Ibn Faruq, died 406 AH. And these were not the only ones, but they represent what was being discussed during that time. What clearly comes across is the cementing of Hadith into early Islamic mainstream societies, supported by rulers like al-Mutawakkil, who became Caliph in 232 AH. As the Messenger left no Hadith in written form, the Quran denies the following of anything other than the Quran, so the walking Quran could not, would not, and did not leave or authorize any of his sayings. Then the discussion just illustrated proves that the Hadith are the innovation and heresy into the deen of Allah and not the rejection of them by us Quranic Muslims. We are the true submitters to Allah and followers of the true Hadith and Sunnah of the Messenger, the Quran alone. Here are a few verses to reflect upon. I am not intimidated by the Bukharian majority.
People will confront you with what the majority is doing. Now if you pay heed to, or get intimidated by majority of those who live on earth, they will lead you astray from God's way. Most of the people follow nothing but conjecture and they only live by guesswork. Only your Lord shows the right path and knows best those who stray and those who are rightly guided.
I make no partners with Allah.
Say, of your partners, is there any that can lead you to the truth? Say, God leads to the truth. So, who is more worthy of being followed? The one who shows you the way or one who finds no way unless he is guided? What is amiss with you? How do you judge? The majority of people follow nothing but conjecture. But conjecture can never be a substitute for the reality of things. God is knower of what they do and forge.
I am not a mushrik.
The majority of people do not believe in God without remaining mushriks. Shirk, idol worship in different forms. Mushrik, one who calls upon gods besides God, associates others with him, or believes in false deities, one who ascribes partners to him, submits to false authorities, or follows clergy instead of divine revelation, one who blindly follows his desires.
I do not hold the Quran in low esteem.
That this Quran is a noble monograph in a well-guarded book. This is a book that none but the pure of mind can grasp. Those who approach the Quran with minds contaminated with preconceived notions and extrinsic material will never understand it. Mutaharun, those who rid their minds of blind following and false dogmas. A revelation from the Lord of the worlds. Is it this hadith that you would hold in low esteem, and make its denial your daily bread? And the messenger will say, O my Lord, these are my people who had abandoned this Quran as something to be neglected.
The Quran Unchained.